This next guest could be the biggest superstar in Australian MMA history, but we'll have to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event.
Live from HBF Stadium Festival Hall. Melbourne Pavilion. Not even backstage, we're literally outside.
Was that the best fight card in Australian MMA history?
Call me crazy, but make sure you call me when I'm right.
Be good if the Aussie MMA Instagram page would give us a bit of glow up because we're killing it.
Welcome to the Australian MMA podcast. Today's guest is a good old friend of the show, and he's probably one of the most hyped Australian MMA athletes I have seen in quite some time. Harry, the human highlight reel, Webb. Now, Harry has burst onto the scene. I think he's only ever been doing mixed martial arts for 6 years, but in the last 18 months to 2 years, perhaps in the entire just existence of Australian MMA, this show at least, Harry has gone from really hyped amateur, collecting amateur belts on the great launching pad that is Demolition Fight Series, to jumping onto Eternal MMA and putting on a great display against another young up-and-comer, Ollie Schmidt. And from that, he jumped on over to Hex Fight Series and put on a tremendous display with amazing knockouts of Khan Husmek, Niam Stephen, and then he challenged for the Hex Lightweight Championship, the Hex Featherweight Champion, who was 9-1 at the time, Abdallah Biada, and he was basically described by many as, you know, the best pound-for-pound fighter currently, Abdallah Biada, and Harry put him to sleep in round one. It was very impressive. Now Harry has gone on to sign with basically the biggest sponsor promotional company, which is of course our friends at PRP Global, and he's also, which, look, we mentioned just how valuable he is because of the amount of merchandise he can sell, and a lot of promotions out there know how many tickets he can sell. The dude moves like thousands of dollars. He's a very valuable man, and he's even closely aligned with Chosen Advisory, Tim Simpson and Dan Maudsley, who have Jack Della, Casey O'Neill, Tai Tuivasa, Leon Edwards, the former UFC welterweight champion. So an incredible stable. So if they're high on Harry Webb, you should be too. Now, we mentioned the merchandise and the tickets and just how valuable Harry Webb can be, and he's probably going to have to be, because some unfortunate news came in a couple of months ago when Harry Webb's gym, Infinite MMA in Ballarat, burnt down due to an arson attack, and the entire MMA community got behind him and got behind them to really get them back on their feet. And then even kind of in the aftermath, more people broke in and stole some memorabilia. Now, there is many rumors floating around, many accusations, all that sort of stuff, but we do have to be journalistic somewhat here on the Australian MMA show, and look, innocent until proven guilty. But look, we talked to Harry Webb about kind of who he thinks might have targeted the gym. Was it targeted? Was it random? Because there is a possibility of that. But guys, without further ado, after we hear from our friends at PRP Global, it's Harry, the human highlight reel, Webb. Fuel the fight with Australian-made MMA-inspired streetwear and support the next generation of MMA superstars. Delivering unprecedented support to the Aussie MMA scene, support PRP Global on their journey. 100% of profits go to the fighters. Check PRP Global out today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, the one and only Harry Webb. Mate, welcome.
Hey Mitch, how are you?
I like your shirt.
It's a nice shirt.
Are you a cat man?
I am a cat man now, yeah. I wasn't a cat man, and I was really against getting a cat, and then my girlfriend, it was part of the deal, and we got one, and then I ended up wanting to get another one. So
that really hurts your credibility, I feel.
Nah, it's good, bro.
Well, I mean, how's training camp going? David Martinez, the Eternal Lightweight Championship coming up, UFC weekend. You've kind of put all your eggs in this basket. You look like you got a bit of a black eye, mate. Is it not going well?
Mate, it's going very well, and you can thank Diamond Daly for this one. He's locked in also, and he's got a big fight coming up. So yeah, he's really turned a corner, and I think he's that chip on the shoulder is extra large at the moment. So he's been dishing out some beatings too.
Yeah. Has he has my prediction gotten to him yet? I did say, yeah, I was gonna say, I did say that, like, I said the wider consensus would say that he's the underdog, and I don't think he'll like that very much.
Yeah, he it's definitely lit a fire under him, I think. But that's great. That's what we want to see from Luke Daly.
Yes. He's a very intense man.
He is. He's a very intense man. That's his character, and I think it works for him though. I think the more people doubt him, the better he sort of performs.
Well, it's one of those. I mean, it's that style of fight. I mean, I did it to you. You know, it wasn't the skill. It's like the matchup. There is kind of an A and B side on who is kind of higher in the narrative of Australian MMA. And Don Marfan, you'd have to say is right up there with one of the best lightweights in Australia.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, you know, a 2-time former title contender, obviously holds value in his ranking, and he's shown that he's got a great grappling pedigree, and I just think that Daly matches up great with him, and also, you know, Daly's undefeated at lightweight. He's on a 3-fight win streak, and I think Daly's got more submission wins than Marfan himself. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup, and I can't wait to see it play out.
How many twisters do you get caught in at training?
Oh, mate, I don't get caught in twisters. I actually twisted the diamond. I taught him that move.
But he is, I tell you what, he's definitely one to watch. And if he can knock off Marfan, I feel like he could be right up there, which could be a bit awkward, mate. If you pick up the lightweight title and Daly's right there, have you guys talked about what's going to happen?
Well, if you can't see by the look on my face, like we're already playing this match out every week in the gym. So obviously we're not going to fight each other. But yeah, so look, the goal, the hope is, and the plan is that hopefully, you know, I win this one and then move on to the greener pastures, and then Daly, that title shot will open up for him in the near future. If that's not the case, you know, who knows what Eternal's plans are. If they've got other, like the Aguilera and Becca matchup could be a #1 contenders fight as well. So who knows what Eternal's plans are. Daly might still need to have 1 or 2 more anyway before being in that title picture. But yeah, I guess we'll just wait and see. And yeah, but the answer is no, we won't be fighting each other.
You just hand it to him at training when he beats you, and then he'll get to keep it. And then when you beat him back at training, then you take it back, and you guys just
the gym title.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you'd have to look after it very, very carefully, because you wouldn't want it stolen.
That's right. Yeah. I'll keep it in my house.
No, mate. Just touching on that, of course, everyone is well aware of the last time we spoke. Everything was fine. Gym was fine. Everything was good. Ballarat was lovely. And then since we've talked, not only has the gym been essentially burnt down, but then memorabilia was even taken and all that sort of stuff. Can you do you know exactly what of your memorabilia was taken?
It was a bit weird. Like, I think they took a couple of demolition belts, and maybe a couple of random photos. So whether it was targeted or it was just some random Westies in Ballarat just breaking into the gym and just grabbing what they could, I just think it's weird that they would take title belts, like, regardless, because unless you won that belt yourself, you know, it holds 0 value. And if you're going to try and sell a demolition belt, it's like, well, you know, it's very obvious where that's come from. But, you know, I don't know. I've got plenty of demolition belts anyway, so I wasn't too bothered.
I was going to say, how dare you say they have no value? Wayne Carl's going to be so upset with you.
They hold tremendous value to me, obviously, because I won them. But if someone was to have one for no reason, then what's the point in that?
Well, they do look cool. Like, if I can credit Wayne Carl, I do think they're a very attractive belt. So, like, I think if you don't know about MMA, maybe you think they're real gold. You know, maybe.
Possible. Yeah, it is possible.
Mate, take us back to, of course, the gym and it all happening. In all seriousness, have you felt like scared at all?
Nah, not scared. When it first happened, I was a little bit concerned because, well, it was just a weird sort of situation. It was sort of hard to believe at the time, like when we first found out, obviously that morning in Sydney, and we obviously had no idea who did it, and it's like, but nah, we haven't felt scared at all. I think if that was their goal, definitely didn't work out, and I think if anything, it's just motivated us more. And yeah, now we're just working with what we've got under the circumstances, and we've managed to put in a great camp. And yeah, the gym is going to be rebuilt at some stage, and I think everyone's going to be sort of better for it. That little bit of adversity, I think, is going to just make everyone that bit better.
Is it something that you thought you'd ever have to deal with in your career?
Nah, not at all. Like, the weirdest part was when it first happened, I think it sort of took a few days to sink in, and because it was like I'd go to work on Monday and then I'd get home from work and I'm like, well, fuck, I don't have anywhere to train now. And it really just felt like going back to the COVID times when we're in lockdown, and I'm like shadow boxing in my kitchen in my jocks, and there wasn't really any sort of anything in place in the first, sort of 3 or 4 days before, everyone sort of got around us and started offering out places to train. And, but it didn't take too long before we got up and running again and got a space and got our mat set up. And yeah, so the support's been great, obviously.
Where are you now?
The exact location, that is very confidential.
I could actually I can understand why.
Yeah. So, well, one of my sponsors, Ben at Cafe Lecker, he owns another shop, and it was just an empty shop, and John had a bunch of mats in storage, so we just decked that place out, and yeah.
Now, I want to ask you kind of one final question on it, because I do kind of want to put it to bed, because it's a very awkward topic, if you will. And look, accusations can change lives, but do you have an idea of who you think did it, why, and does it bother you if it is who you think did it?
I think, you can only speculate. I wouldn't directly accuse anyone of doing it without having evidence. And, I think a lot of people are sort of maybe think they have an idea, but I doubt that it'll ever come to light if whoever done it, like the police, obviously, I don't know if they've been investigating or what, but yeah, honestly, I have no idea.
And overall, just, I mean, mentally away from fighting, you've obviously got girlfriend, cats. Does that side of it kind of, you're just a kid trying to chase his dreams. Does it feel like a heavy load that, potentially kind of decisions you've made in this game have affected those around you?
Well, that was the main thing that I was concerned about. Like the morning that it happened, I was calling my girlfriend just to make sure that nothing else had happened, if it was to be targeted at me, and it all was fine. And you would really hope that nothing like that would happen out of. At the end of the day, it's a sport, so things like that and that sort of gang side of whatever, it shouldn't really be involved. And at the end of the day, like, I'm just making decisions that are best for my career, and that's all that I can do. And you would never think that making a decision would come to something like that. So yeah, but all is well with my family and everything. So
yeah, and look, obviously want to definitely get back onto the positive sides of fighting and whatnot, but it is important that people are going to have their thoughts and people are going to have their reasons, and some things might make sense and some things might not. But until it comes to light, like, you owe everyone in the situation, everyone is innocent until proven guilty, as as weird as that is. But I think no one feels kind of, you are the person that everyone is thinking about the most throughout all of this. You know what I mean? So just understand that the MMA community and the Ballarat community and everyone that hears about it is on your side and wants nothing but the best for you. And you've probably seen that in how the community's gotten around you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like just the support from everybody, everyone reaching out to me, and the GoFundMe doing so well just shows that people, that people really do care. And I think it's just like no one would ever want to put themselves in that situation or be in a situation like that. So they can sort of feel for me in that way. And yeah, obviously I'm super appreciative of everybody getting behind us.
Did it make, I mean, this is a behind the curtain thing, but did it make you, say, Luke Daly, John Campbell, your coach, did any of you guys look at each other and go, have you done anything that we don't know?
Nah, not at all. I think it was a bit of a joke, but like Daly pissed some people off with his post-fight speech after his last one, telling everyone to go fuck themselves, and and maybe that was what happened. But
hey,
no.
stranger things have happened, mate. Stranger things have happened. But mate, I mean, what's kind of like what do you think is the real golden moment that's come out of all of this? Have you found something about yourself, your team, perhaps your fans? Kind of what has kind of been the phoenix of the ashes?
Well, yeah, I guess like it's just going from that and having the gym, everything going so well, and then there's obviously a big event like that, and everything just gets flipped on its head after I've just won the title. Daly's just won a big fight, just signing a big contract with a major promotion in the country, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, what the fuck? Like we're in this situation. But I think just like the best thing that's come out of it is just seeing the support from everyone, even people like David Martinez, my opponent, donating his purse. Like that's insane. And but then just going back to like just proving that you don't need a fancy facility, you don't really need much as long as you've got like some solid training partners, a good coach, and some wall mats, like you're sweet. So we're just going to prove that, yeah, no matter what sort of gets thrown our way, we can keep rising up and keep just pushing forward, and we're going to prove that.
Now, you talk about kind of taking those steps up, and everyone seems to be jumping on the hype train early because they want to be the ones that rode it all the way to the top. Now, even you said you've been doing some work with Dan Maudsley and Chosen Advisory, and they've got a lot of fighters that are not just in the UFC. They're doing very well. You're fighting on UFC weekend. I can only imagine that the UFC brass know who you are, and there could be a real opportunity for you to make some noise. Do you know if there's been any talk about you at all?
Well, yeah, when we so when I was trying to get a fight on Hex and we just could not get a matchup, like we had said yes to absolutely everything that was offered, and we'd asked for just about every single person in the lightweight division, and we just could not get anything. And I had been speaking with Daniel for a little while, like just he sort of helped me out with a few things here and there, and then we basically had a conversation after the fight with Abdallah that so I got introduced to Tim Simpson as well, and we just said like what the sort of plans going forward would be for myself, and looking at obviously the goal is UFC. So me and John just said, fuck, we can't get a fight here. Like we don't want to sit around for too long. Like, is there any chance that we can get on Contender Series this year? And so Daniel got the UFC's temperature on me and just put the feelers out there, and I spoke to Sean Shelby, and essentially we got back that they have been watching me. They're well aware of who I am. They've watched all my fights. They're impressed, but they just want to see me have a few more pro fights. They even said like we wish that some of his amateur fights were pro fights, but obviously they want more experience. I'm only 4-0, so that's completely understandable. So then the goal was just to get as many fights as I can now, and just keep winning and putting on impressive performances, and I'm sure I'm not too far away.
And before we go on to the David Martinez fight, which will be the biggest test of your career, can you talk about obviously getting PRP Global behind you? Word on the scene is you outsell everyone in merchandise combined.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of loyal supporters down here in Ballarat. Put it that way.
What's it like, man? Just you're getting everyone throwing themselves at you, wanting to be a part. I mean, Chosen Advisory is easily one of the best management companies in the world. PRP Global, I'm going to say it here, they have not said this, but you would be their golden goose, eternal, through you, the biggest, stupidest contract I've ever seen in my life at you. Like, it's just Wayne Carl from Demolition has been saying you're the next big thing for the longest time coming. Mate, how does it feel? Is it pressure? Are you excited? Like, what's it like to have so many people expect such big things from you?
Yeah, no, it's fucking exciting. Like, I've been doing this for only 6 years now, like fighting and taking it seriously. But that's a long time where I've been grinding every day, working full time, going to the gym, training every night, and just to finally start to see all of it sort of pay off. I've made a lot of sacrifices over the last 5 6 years, like going out with my mates where they're all going on separate paths, doing different things. I'm making fuck all working jobs that, I'm only just working to suit my training schedule sort of thing. And I think now it's just really rewarding that it's all starting to pay off for me. And like, I'm nowhere near where I want to be. Obviously, like, this is just the start for me, in my opinion. And even though everything's gone so well, I've still got so much to prove and so much to do. And I don't feel like there's pressure. I don't feel the pressure. I don't put the pressure on myself. Obviously, there is some pressure there because everyone expects so much of me, but I think that's just due to me putting on great performances up until this point. And if I just keep working the way I have been, I don't see why I can't continue that role.
And the biggest fight of your life, August 17th versus David Martinez. He's a two-time Eternal MMA lightweight champion. He has fought the who's who. He is by far the best grappler that you've ever sort of come up against. What can we expect August 17th? And you are the overwhelming favorite. And that is very bizarre for someone with a resume like David Martinez. I mean, can you just talk about, first off, the preparation heading in and then what we can expect?
Yeah, like you said, Dave, he's the biggest test to date. He's very experienced, much more experienced than I am. But I think that's also a good thing for me because like, John is great at studying and breaking down opponents and building game plans around that. And there's a lot of footage on David out there. So we've built a great game plan and put in a great camp. And I think I'm just gonna go out there and just show that I'm on another level. And like I have been in my last few fights, it's always, even my last one, I was 3-0 fighting Abdullah, who was 9-1. That's a big experience gap. And I went out there and I knocked him out in the first round. I don't see why I can't continue that. Obviously, David is a very tough opponent, doesn't get put away easily. His grappling is the highest level that I would have faced up to this point. But I think that my grappling hasn't really been tested yet in the fight. But I really back myself in that area. I think that people think that I'm just a striker because I'm good at it, but I can definitely grapple too.
Do you expect him to strike with you?
Yeah, like I think he actually strikes a lot more than people sort of give him credit, and he's got that really forward pressure game, and that is hard to deal with. Like, even though I think like it may not be the prettiest style of striking, but he is effective, and we haven't underrated his striking at all. And having that grappling threat also creates openings for the striking, but I think that my range is too good. I'm too fast and he's too hittable, and I just hit too hard. And if you're hittable, you're going to sleep.
And do you have a prediction for the fight?
I said within 2 rounds, and Eternal clipped that and posted it, even though I was super respectful for the rest of the clip. So I'm rolling with the inside 2.
Yeah, but you also said first one to shoot's a pussy, and then David Martinez gave half, like a bit of his purse to your gym. So,
I stand by it. I stand by it.
oh, would you just shock the world and maybe you just shoot just to start? Just
Mate, I've been thinking about it. I'm thinking about the Imanari role, and I might heel hook him in round 1.
now, mate. Before I do let you go, your coach John Campbell has just been relentless in his online bullying of all of your opponents. How? Just talk about him as a coach. He is like, I mean this as a compliment. Like, he's a bit of a maniac. Like,
Yeah.
what's it like having John Campbell as a coach?
Oh, man, it's the best. Like it's always a laugh. Like he's always, every time I get a message from him, I'm like, oh, what's this going to be? Like every John Campbell sent a photo or he sent a
Yeah.
video. I'm like, I can just prepare myself because it's always some wild shit. But it's so funny. But yeah, obviously, as an actual coach, like it doesn't get much better. You know, he's up till fucking 3 a.m. studying my opponents for me, sending me breakdowns and clips, and then we're going in the gym and we're just working on it day in, day out. And he's given up his time for me, and he's doesn't even have an income at the moment. So anything I can do to pay that back and go out and get a big win, like it's going to mean a lot to me and to him. And yeah, it's fucking awesome. And yeah, he's the best.
Awesome, mate. Well, I'll let you get back to grooming your cat or whatever you do now. And look, mate, you're an absolute superstar. Obviously, see you when you come on over next week. Hopefully, it's another highlight reel.
Let's go. I'll see you in the flesh. Australian MMA represent.
Love it. Peace out, brother.